Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Minecraft 1.19 here in my survival world, which of course is in need of a little bit of cleaning. There we go. I have been very busy whilst I've been off camera. I say this all the time. I hate the rain. But I think first things first, let's just get some sleep. Much better. The rain has stopped. We are free to talk without interruptions. So, I have been doing a little bit of resource gathering, just collecting some things like some sand in order to make ourselves some glass and smelting it all down. And currently I'm in the process of smelting down kelp to get myself some kelp blocks because I have very little to no coal left. The joys of a smelting unit. Anyway, last episode we was talking about getting a few more things done to this world just before we start off on our new epic adventure, whatever that might be, and I'm glad to say we are going to do that today. I have got an idea for what I want to make over in the field distance just over there. And yes, it's going to be a farm, but not just any farm, a wheat farm. I know I have tons of wheat fields here, I've also got the big one over there, but the point is I need it to work for itself. I need it to do it by itself, and I'm not really getting that here because otherwise I have to go around and manually do all this, and I'm not going to do it now because I just don't want to. So I need a villager. I need something where wheat is produced, and that would be a windmill. So, I think let's kick off today's episode jumping straight into a time lapse, shall we? If you're ready, set, build! It is done, it is sorted, it is finished. And I'm not 100% sure about it. I like the fact that we have copper up here. And I also like the fact that it's blue and that it's oxidized. I'm loving this sort of wildland that I've kind of created around it with all of the azalea bushes and these, my new favorite block, which is packed mud bricks. They just have a really cool, listen. They have a really cool like sound to them that nothing else has, to be honest with you. And I've lined up these areas with the wheat fields and just sort of connected it down to this bit here so that then it looks like it's sort of spinning into one full giant farm, almost as though this bit would be being harvested and then this is where it's being processed. But you know, secretly we all know that there's a hidden secret inside of here. Let me just show you. We have a villager. And there he is, walking around, collecting all of the wheat and the seeds and everything else. And you can hear below us there is a minecart which operates underneath, collecting everything as it spins round. Under here we have the collection mechanism. We're starting to get a few things through, not a lot, but these things do take time. A villager has to get rid of all of their inventory, replace it with seeds. So, you know, around this side we have also created all of our pathways, and we're building this up because eventually, I mean, we're going to build the outline section just here, so we're going to block all of this bit off anyway. I'm kind of wanting to create something which is going to run off into this field section here, and then finally all the way in the back there, the other field section that runs out through there. Again, I'm not 100% sure what that's going to be. It takes a little bit of time in between episodes for me to sort of have a look around, have a think, and kind of get a feel for it. But what do you guys think? What do you think about the windmill? I've never really built one before. I kind of wanted it to be circular in a way. I wanted it to be shorter than, you know, other builds, because sometimes with building, you kind of get stuck doing the giant. I mean, you can see I have 3 giant builds at the back of me here. And yeah, I sort of wanted this one to blend in a little bit with the surroundings. So I think it looks pretty cute for what it's worth. Like I say, I am not the best builder in the world, but even with this the way it is, I think it looks good. The roof's a little bit dodgy, but at the same time, these are hobbits that are building this. So, you know, how much architectural school do you think they went to? But yes, I am not done for today when it comes to building, actually, and there is one thing that I definitely want to start working on, and I think we're going to do that together. Around this side here, just where the village of Reader is, I have leveled out quite a bit of land. Even if I fly all the way up to the top and then come down, you can see that this is quite a bit of land. I was questioning whether or not to fill in this gap here, but I think we can leave it for what it is now. I don't think we need to actually fill this section in. We could probably make this some sort of cool little pond area and decorate that out and make it look really sweet. I'm thinking about it. So the plan for this area is quite simple. I want to turn this into a marketplace. I know we have the villager trading hall, which is where we get all of our stuff from anyway. And this is not going to be an actual, you know, usable marketplace. That would take too much work and I would have to put villagers in. And if you've got a trading hall, why would I even need that? But I do need it to be something which looks, well, I'm kind of thinking Bilbo's party. You know, at the end of it, at the first episode, where they have all the fireworks display and everyone's out there in their seats and, you know, they've got all these sorts of cool little like huts around. I'm thinking that, to be honest with you, and I'm thinking of pathwaying it through, utilising all of this space as well. There is going to be a lot of shops here, and that's kind of a good thing because I sort of want to have it as a display unit for everything that you can kind of get in this game on a miniature scale, on a Hobbit style scale. So I have got with me here Ender chest, and then we also have everything stacked into all of these shulker boxes. I have been a very busy boy. I've been packing them with items that we are going to need to get this whole thing off and running. Now, how this is going to work out, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that the first thing I need to do is to sort of carve out an area, or at least a pathway structure, that's going to help me to devise and understand the way in which I want this to sort of be. So, for example, I think I would want something about here. And then if I'm going to be placing it there, I'm definitely going to need a pathway which is going to run across to this section. So something like this that would basically run there. Oh, by the way, yes, you are in for the how I build section of the video. Because I kind of want to take people through my sort of mindset when it comes to building, how I sort of build a little bit more organically than having everything fully structured out, because it works, but it's never really worked for me. Certainly not something on this scale, at least, anyway. Thinking we could probably get away with having another one here. Thinking something like that. But then, would I create a diverging path, potentially? So something which then runs across this section here, so it would go into somewhere like that bit. So then you're going to have this kind of like blocking out bit here, but then it could probably fit another one, I suppose, where we sort of go here like this. So I'm thinking that we could probably create something which is going to be a little bit longer. So if we go across this section here, like so. We could run the path across. Okay, that works out, because we don't want everything to be too close together, because I think that would look a little bit too boxed in. The whole point is for this to look a little bit more like you can walk through it. I do want to leave space for some trees. I want to sort of put in a few decorative things surrounding this. I am just going to run a few things through this pathway, create a little bit of an outline, and yeah, we'll jump straight back in it. Give me a moment and I'll be right back. So wherever you see basically a square or a rectangle is where the shop's going to go. The central part here is going to be the fountain. And anywhere where you see grass and podzol, we're going to be basically implementing a little bit of the sort of structure that we've had for the other pathways. So you can see down here where there's coarse dirt, rooted dirt, podzol, all that sort of stuff. And then we're also going to be throwing in some trees and a little bit of greenery as well, just to sort of cap this whole thing off. Now comes the task of building it. No better place to start than staring at our old base and a bright yellow luminescent wheat field. Right here. So what I'm thinking of doing is creating this as the first one, and then we can sort of get a sense for how we want the others to turn out. It is, again, up to you as the builder, I suppose, of how you would effectively do this. But I'm thinking I want the first one to be quite a long shop. So we'll put in these here and then create basically a barrier. My only annoyance is that the actual wood connective textures do not sync up to these. So I think what I can probably do is just place down some planks. And I think that looks pretty cute, to be perfectly honest with you. That is probably the sort of length and breadth of where I'm thinking of starting this. You can run these across. Thankfully, the wood textures do connect to the stone bricks when they go on top. Now, naturally, it looks a little bit cagey, and that's probably because if you're trying to go for 10, adding side barriers in is probably not the way to go. The way to get around this would be to simply remove anything which is a side barrier. So you can take all of these sections off, like so. So I'm thinking I don't really want this to go too high, to be honest with you. I'm thinking we could probably do it as this would be 3, that would be 4. I'm thinking 4 is probably more than enough. Actually, I don't mind it. That doesn't look that high to me, to be honest with you. I think I can sort of get away with it being like this. We will put something over at the top in tent format, but I think I just want to hang up some lights first before we do that. Okay, that looks cute, just to begin with. So let's have a look and see what we've got in terms of workstations. So if we want to, what we can do is we can basically create this, a sort of workstation effect, if you will, which is where we're going to put down some chests. We'll put down a crafting table. I think this would make it look almost like they've sort of makeshift placed something somewhere. If you also wanted to go as far, you could probably throw in a few other things as well, just to make it look like we've got some shelves in there. For example, we could go across the back bit here, and we could do that with some of these spruce trap doors. There we go. And this just makes it look a little bit more walled off. And then across this side section, we could go in with paneling across these sides here, again, just to make it look a little bit more built in. what you would again probably want to do this time is encase it in, and then across the back as well, just kind of sinks the whole thing up and just gives it a little bit more to sort of run off. There we go. We can take out some orange wood, we can place that there, so this is almost sort of like a lumberjack shop. I think a trapdoor like that just makes it look a little bit cool. And then I think we could probably put the boat here. Now comes the time for the roof onto our little shop here, and how you go about roofs it's a tricky one, to be honest with you. You sort of want to interject height, but you also want there to be a certain level of flatness to it as well. And the problem is, yeah, you're using wood. It's definitely not the best thing to be using when it comes to making roofs. It's the only thing we do have, so let's get stuck to it. You probably want to make something whereby you're going to be creating this sort of effect, this stripy effect. We've all seen it done before. It's just a case of what sort of colour scheme you're going for and how you're wanting this whole thing to look. I quite like the thought of the wool for this one being orange, and that's again just because we have got the orange acacia wood, and I just think it'll look pretty cute to start off with. You can bring everything down just a little bit with the use of wood, just to make it look as though it's supposed to be hanging like that. You can also bring the sides down as well, and so you would probably need to use white wool for this section here. Let me just bring that up a little bit more. There we go. See, like that. So you've effectively now got a lower hang down here on both of these sides, and then the wood beams basically make it look as though it was sort of built that way, that it's kind of had to. If you really wanted to go in for a lot more detail, you can extend these wood furnishings up here just to make it look as though the whole thing is connected by a wooden framework. It is quite busy. I'm not always a huge fan of how this ends up looking, to be honest with you, but it does kind of give a sense of realism. So ultimately, it's probably your choice, whatever you decide to do. If you want to, you can actually go further down one more and bring the wool even closer to the ground. Doing this, so adding the wool texture all the way down to the bottom here, is beginning to make it look a little bit wide. So this would be very imposing to look at, and it's probably too big for what I'm after. I know I'm wanting to put stuff around the sides here, and I know I'm also putting them further away from each other so they won't actually cross-hang. We could probably get away with this, but we definitely need something which is going to rest under here. And I have just the block. Stairs. Stair blocks are a very good way of interjecting the wood texture just to break this whole thing up. Because the one thing that you don't really want is for this to look too, I don't know, like it's sort of just hanging loosely in the wind. I think that would look a little bit too strange. That looks a little bit better. It looks a little bit more like how it's supposed to. This does give me the groundwork, and this does let me sort of see how I kind of want things to look. You can see it there, and it does, from a distance, it does look really cute. A picture flying in from this section, and we're going to have all of these dotted around. I really do think that that adds a little something to this, because it was all beginning to be, well, it was beginning to be dark wood and stripped birch. So I was not 100% certain with it. But I do like this, and I think even if we end up looking at this from, I don't know, from where our little smelting area is, just over the road here, I think that looks really good. I think it's going to look really cool. Now, we've got the first one down, and there is plenty to go. I am not going to be doing the interior work on all of these, not during this time lapse at least anyway, but we are going to be putting the basic structures in place. But now we've got that one down, and it looks really cool from this sideline here. I think it's about time we jump into another time lapse, and then we can get ourselves a nice little marketplace. On your marks, get set, go. And we're back. And it took a while to get everything where I needed it to be. But from this part over here, it looks pretty cool. Let's take a closer look just to see what everything's going on. And yes, we have got everything where we want it to finally be. The paths lead into each individual shop if I just land here. So you can see that obviously this path over here is extended to lead into this one. This leads straight into here. And walking around, it looks a little bit weird at the moment because obviously I have nothing in between the shops. They aren't even decorated out yet. I want to tackle this, and it's going to be a water fountain. I'm not 100% sure how I want to style out this water fountain, but we're going to do it together. So, I made a very, very rough circle with this. This is not even at all. In fact, let me just neaten this out now just a little bit. So 3, 3, 1, and then 1. And then we take out this one. So yeah, so it's going to be a 3 by 3, and then we'll take out these central parts as well. So what we're effectively going to be doing with this now is creating something so that it goes into this circle. And I'm thinking the first thing that we could probably do is set down something like this. Okay, that was looking cute for the time being. I think what we need to do is interject in some of these brickworks instead. And then we can probably break out some of these and just replace them with some actual bricks. What you're trying to do is create something that's a little bit more sort of natural looking to the landscape around it. So when you sort of tend to look at bricks that are covered in moss, they don't always have moss over every single part of them. And then it's the same with the stairs as well. So it's good to put them down first, but then afterwards you do want to go through and just sort of detail them up a little bit and kind of, you know, turn them around and put them in to places where you want them to go. For example, like adding a bit of tuff into this will break up the monotony of the green, and it will just add some more of a variant colour to it as well. Yeah, see, so adding in some normal cobblestone as well does just sort of break this whole thing up. And if you are wanting to still keep the sort of mossy effect, you could make it a little bit neater by adding in some stone bricks and just sort of varying the texture patterns just a little bit. And I want to sort of sprinkle in some of these into here, just sort of make it look like it kind of works a little bit. Is that going to look too much? It's cute. I'm not 100% sure about it. We need to add the water in first and just see what it looks like. Oh, okay. So the whole thing just gets completely waterlogged. Okay. I'm thinking we need to take off something here. Let's just see. There we go. Okay, yeah. So you can't really have anything out on the side because otherwise it's just gonna be a mess. I'm alright with it. It's not my most favourite looking thing in the world, but I think it will do. It's fine. It works. It kind of looks okay. I think once we've got everything bone mealed around here and we sort of add a little bit more to the ground itself, I think we'll probably be in a better shape to look at it then. Now, there is a lot of shops to get done. A lot. And I do not have the willpower to go through each one individually. What I think... Oh, I'm just going to throw my shovel. Let me just pick that back up. I think what I'm gonna do is take some time gathering some resources, and I think what we'll do is get this whole thing laid out, detailed, and then I think I'll bring you all back in once it's finally finished and we're all done. It's the last time lapse of today, I promise you that. But if you're ready, set, detail. Finally, it is done. And you can see it here. It's so cool. I've put in a lot of trees around here, and I've also built up all of the pathways. Let's just land and we can walk through it. First of all, it's huge. I didn't realize how big this job was actually going to be until I started doing it, and then I instantly regretted my life decisions. But that's kind of how things work in this world. And you can see here from the first one that we created, our wood shop, which is just here, we have spawned, well, loads of different styles of shops, to be honest with you. From the smithing area to the metalworks. We've even got the map all set and sorted out. This is a map of pretty much everything. I don't have enough space to be doing this bit down here, but you can see just what we've actually managed to accomplish. And it looks cute. You can see everything, and I am happy. These two bits need to be done. It does bug me that these don't show up as different colours, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. We've got our fountain, which glows in the night, and we've also got so many different areas, like this is the food mall, the food stall. We've also got the fletchery. We've got our little honey section just over here, sweet, sweet honey. And then also a load of words like doors and things, which I've basically decided to call it, which is a fun shop that you could just come and knock stuff about. Yeah, I like it. We've done really well with this. It's kind of set up, the lighting store, it's set up so that then you would basically be walking around here trying to fire things. This is going to be the fireworks shop, I just need to fully stock it up. And yeah, it works the way that I want it to, which is effectively just to add something to the end to fill out this space, but also for it to work as part of the world. Because ultimately in Hobbiton they did have these sorts of stalls. Now, they weren't necessarily brightly coloured or anything, but at the same time they don't necessarily need to be monotoned coloured or dark coloured, because it's, you know, this is a recreation, this is a retelling. I suppose it does look a little bit rainbowy inspired, but hey, listen, this is the reason why we've got the rainbow sheep, because I want it to be rainbow. Why wouldn't I? But to see it during the day, you can see so much more sort of detail and more aesthetic-esseness that I've put into it. This is the block shop that I've got working on. And yeah, there is the moss shop, the leather works. I've got so many different shops in this area, and some of them are not yet finished. For example, I haven't got around to putting any detail in the compost shop yet. I want to basically add bone meal around all up here, add some seeds and stuff, but, you know, detailing things, it takes a lot of time. So yes, I love it. I'm loving everything about this. I'm really starting to think that this place is taking a good amount of shape. We have done our mill, which is still pumping away, still getting us some wheat for our bricks. Because there's one thing that I'm going to be using in mass, is probably going to be these bricks. And we've also got our little villager stall area with no villagers in them. But I am thinking about using the armor stand mod, you know, just to sort of bring a bit more life into this. But you guys can tell me what you think. Should I be doing it? Should I not? Who knows? But I would say we're doing pretty well in our little Middle-earth world, to be honest with you, and I can't wait to keep expanding this out and keep growing it to its full potential, whatever that might be. However, that is all I literally have time for today. This is a lot of building. This took a lot of work to get done. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but terraforming takes up so much time. Literally, give it a try. Go out, try and terraform all of your lands. Tell me how much time you have to do it all. It's incredibly time consuming. But I have had so much fun still doing all of this. I think I want to do a little bit more of an adventure next time round. Maybe find ourselves what's that thing called that's underwater? You know what I mean. Let me know in the comments below. Because I am going to be in need of prismarine, definitely. And dark prismarine as well. So there may be a squid farm coming soon as well. Who knows? But you guys, I want to say thank you for watching this video. I also want to say that if you've liked what you've seen today, make sure you smash that like button and also hit the subscribe button whilst you're there, because I need all the help I can get. Also there, drop me a comment as well. Let me know what your thoughts are. You can also follow me at BusterUV on Twitter. I'm working on a Discord as well, so that might be happening soon enough where you guys can join me for some interesting conversations around the world of Middle-earth and Minecraft. And of course, I am going to be back next week with potentially more Middle-earth Minecraft, potentially a new series that I've got in the mix. Who knows? But until that time, you guys, I want to say thank you very much for watching. I am BusterUV, and I will see you next week. Goodbye. Bye bye bye.